Hi, I'm Sean. Welcome to Secret Picture Factory. In this episode, we're going to create an in-depth, authentic, museum-grade piece of art in the style of Andy Warhol. This tutorial builds on the simple Warhol tutorial and requires the support files created from the support tutorials. If you haven't tackled either of those sets of tutorials, you may want to do so before you jump into this one. The difference between this version of the Warhol style and the simple version ultimately boils down to really getting into the details of making the image look handmade. Additionally, Warhol used some challenging color palettes which some might find ugly at first glance. Two things here. First, if you're making this for a gift for someone who may be sensitive to how they're portrayed, then you may want to stick to more conservative, attractive colors. Second, we encourage you to really play with these crazy color palettes. Like food, art sometimes is an acquired taste. But once you've acquired the more challenging aspects of it, you become a fan. That's what we want. We want you to try on new art by creating it. We want you to be a fan. This tutorial is a little lengthy, therefore we've broken it up into stages. Don't feel like you have to do it all in one sitting, unless you're obsessive like we are. In that case, don't forget to get up, stretch, and eat occasionally. Okay, let's go get our 15 minutes of fame. Okay, now to start on our museum grade version of the Warhol style, we want to go ahead and open up the single panel that we created from the simple Warhol tutorial. So if you haven't done that one yet, you might want to go ahead and do that tutorial first. We won't actually need the 4 panel that we did with that, so you really only need up to the second video. So it's simple Warhol 2 of 3, or Warhol simple, I think is what it's called. For this tutorial, we're only going to be dealing with the black and white part of this image. So go ahead and turn the head layer off and the background layer off. We're just going to be dealing with the background here. So the first thing we want to do is double click on that, and we want to relabel it halftone. Click OK on that, and we want to go ahead and we want to try to dirty that up a little bit. So we're going to zoom in so we can see what our results are. So see how the dots are pretty perfect. They're pretty computer perfect. Not for much longer. We're gonna trash those a little bit. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go to brushstrokes, spatter, and the settings should be spray radius should be 1, smoothness should be 2. So see how it's kind of dirtying up and trashing those? That's good. That's the result that we want. So we click OK on that. And we want to blur it and then blur it again. There we go. Now see how it's starting to look like we actually scanned it out of a newspaper. That's good. So now the next thing we want to do is we want to duplicate that layer, and we want to relabel it ink overage. And what this layer is going to do is it's going to sort of be when you push ink through a screen, a silk screen, it really saturates some parts of the paper more than others, and where it saturates, it actually the dots sort of blend together because there's actually too much ink there. So that's what this second layer is trying to create the impression of. So let's take that. So we should still have ink overage selected. And you want to go to Filter, Blur, Box Blur, and then we want that set to 2, so it actually should blur it quite a bit. So see how it looks almost out of focus there. That's good. Now what we want to do is we want to take that ink overage layer and we want to multiply it. There we go. And we're very close now. Now all we want to do, the last step, is that we want to clarify it just a little bit and crush the blacks and push the whites out just a hair. And now this is going to be different for every picture is going to be different. So what you're going for here is I'll show you with this picture, but just know that yours might be slightly different. So you want to go ahead and do levels, which is Command L if you're on a Mac. And generally we just want to push blacks towards the middle, and we want to push whites towards the middle. So then we see how it's really starting to look graphic-y. What we're trying to do is actually mimic an old technique with old technology, we can actually get much cleaner screens now. But remember, a lot of these were done in the 60s and 70s and none really past the 80s. So they didn't have super crisp computer technology to create perfect halftones. So it was all photographic. And as you may know or may not know, a photograph, the celluloid has grain, so it's not a perfect substrate, a perfect surface. So in any case, go ahead and click OK. And now we want to merge those two layers. And we want to go ahead and relabel this halftone again. Okay, so that is the trick. So now we have kind of a junky halftone. That's the idea. And you can go ahead and turn on your background layer and your head layer, and you are now ready for the next step. If you have any questions regarding this or any other video, feel free to post in the comments section and I'll see if I can clarify. Also, if you have an idea or a style that you've always wanted to know how to do, drop me a line and we'll see if we can't put together a tutorial and solve your creative riddle. If this tutorial has piqued your interest in Andy Warhol, the pop art movement, or modern art, click the link below to our blog and continue your investigation into one of the most culturally influential artists of the late 20th century.